Every January, millions of people open a new spreadsheet, build a budget, feel productive for 2 hours, and then never touch it again. The spreadsheet is not the problem, the system is. If your budget only works when you are motivated, focused, and weirdly excited about numbers, it is not built for real life. Real life is noisy, rushed, emotional, and full of interruptions. Your budget has to survive that version of you too. Traditional budgeting fails for one simple reason. It depends on daily willpower. By the end of the day, your attention is gone. You made decisions at work, on your phone, in traffic, in stores, in conversations, and now your budget expects you to manually sort expenses and make even more choices. That is not discipline. That is a badly designed system. And badly designed systems always collapse under ordinary pressure. A budget that demands constant effort will eventually lose to ordinary life. People do not fail because they do not care. They fail because the system keeps asking for energy they do not have. If you want a budget that actually sticks, it has to remove friction, reduce decisions, and keep working when you are tired, distracted, or busy. A good budget should survive ordinary life, not require ideal life. That is the difference between a plan that sounds smart and a system that actually changes behavior. Hey, I'm Kira. By the end of this video, you will have a complete budgeting framework you can actually use. No spreadsheets you forget. No guilt-based money rules. No obsessive tracking. Just a simple system with 3 buckets, 1 setup, and a structure that runs quietly in the background of your life. And once that structure is in place, money stops feeling chaotic and starts feeling readable. The method is called the 3-bucket system. You may know it as 50, 30, 20. Same logic, cleaner behavior. When your paycheck arrives, your money gets assigned 3 jobs immediately instead of sitting in one blurry account where everything competes with everything else. That shift matters because money without a job gets spent emotionally. Money with a job becomes intentional. Once your money has roles, your choices become clearer, faster, and much less stressful. Bucket 1 is needs, about 50% of your take-home pay. Rent, groceries, utilities, transport, insurance, minimum bills. This is the category that keeps your life stable. And if this bucket is swallowing too much of your income, the issue is not your budgeting app. The issue is your cost structure. In many cities, housing alone can crush the ratio. So treat 50% as a signal, not a moral test.
It is there to show pressure, not assign blame.
Bucket 2 is wants, around 30%. This is where bad budgeting advice usually gets strange. It treats enjoyment like a mistake. Restaurants, hobbies, streaming, weekends, small luxuries. This bucket exists so your finances do not feel like a cage. Guilt-free spending is not weakness. It is what makes the system sustainable. A budget you can enjoy is a budget you can keep. And when it becomes real, your future stops depending on hope. Here is the visual metaphor. Bucket 1 is the village you protect. Bucket 2 is the market day you enjoy. You need all 3: safety, joy, and growth. The mistake is overfeeding one and starving the others. That is how people make decent money and still feel financially fragile all the time. Not because they earn too little, but because their money was never designed to stay in balance. Now the part that makes this work. Automation. The percentages matter, but automation matters more. When your paycheck arrives, money should move within 24 hours. Part goes to savings. Part goes to investing. Bills are already scheduled. What remains in checking is your operating budget. This is where budgeting stops being a daily ritual and starts behaving like infrastructure. quiet, reliable, repeatable infrastructure. And that changes everything. Notice what disappears when the system is built correctly. You do not ask yourself whether to save this month. You do not debate whether investing can wait. You do not rely on motivation after a long day. The 20% is gone before your brain can invent a reason to keep it. Self-control is helpful, but design is stronger. A strong system assumes you are human and protects you from inconsistency, hesitation, and emotional spending. Then create separation for spending. Separate accounts, sub-accounts, internal bank buckets. The tool matters less than the boundary. One account full of mixed-purpose money always looks bigger than it really is. Separation makes trade-offs visible, and visible trade-offs change behavior fast. Clarity is not cosmetic. Clarity changes outcomes. Your wants bucket becomes the only place where active spending decisions happen. And the rule is beautifully simple. If there is money there, you can spend it. If there is not, you wait. That is the entire decision tree. No guilt spiral, no moral drama over small purchases, no endless categorizing. Simplicity is not laziness. Simplicity is durability. The easier a rule is to follow, this system has a setup cost, but almost no maintenance cost. You spend maybe 90 minutes building it once, and after that it keeps carrying weight for you every month. Manual budgeting looks easy because anyone can start a spreadsheet, but it keeps charging attention forever. Automation is the opposite. Slightly more effort up front, dramatically less effort later. One is a chore, the other is a machine. And the machine keeps working even when life gets loud. 3 mistakes usually break this system. First, changing the percentages every month based on feelings. Stability is the feature. Second, keeping everything in one account. One account creates blur, and blur creates overspending. Third, waiting for perfect numbers. You do not need perfection. You need a working version. Even 80, 15, 5 is better than a perfect 50, 30, 20 plan that never gets built. Progress beats perfection every single time. Perfectionism is expensive because it delays action while pretending to be intelligent. Start with what your current reality can support. If 20% is too much today, automate 5, then improve. The habit matters before the ratio does. Once the system exists, progress becomes easier, but you cannot optimize a structure that was never built. The first version does not need to be impressive. It just needs to run. And if it runs, it can grow. So here is your move this week. Calculate your real monthly take-home pay. Multiply it by 0.5, 0.3, and 0.2. Write those 3 numbers down. Open a second account if visual separation would help. Then set up one automatic transfer for your next payday, even if it is only $50. Not because $50 changes your life overnight, but because automation changes the architecture of your money. Here is the payoff. A budget that works is not the most detailed one. It is the one that still works when life gets messy. Clear roles, automatic movement, fewer decisions. That is why this system sticks. It does not ask you to obsess over money. It asks your money to behave intelligently in the background. And once your system is finally working, the next question becomes much more interesting. Where should your surplus go first? Emergency fund, debt payoff, or investing?